Hi, I'm Ben, and this is the 2021 Mazda Miata ND Club Edition. If you don't know Miatas that well, I'll walk you through it in a second, but just know that this car, I just want to drive it and drive it a lot. It is so fun, and I'll tell you why a little bit later in this video. But let's talk about Miata's history. In 1990, Mazda came out with the Mazda MX-5, also known as the Miata, which was the first generation known as the Mazda Miata NA. Then we had the 1.6 liter engine changed to the 1.8 liter engine, which became the NA2. Then the NB, second generation Miata, came out. Then we had the NC, which was the third generation of Miata. And 6 years ago, the ND, hence the fourth generation Miata, came out. And in 2019, they upgraded the engine, which makes this look exactly the same as all the other NDs, but be known as the ND2 within the Mazda Miata community. This engine puts out about 25 more horsepower than the ND1, and it has a little bit more torque. The biggest difference is here you have a 7,500 RPM redline, which means you really have a lot of room to rev the car out, and actually means you can drive in the mountains mostly in second or just third gear, and you could have a blast with the car. The ND2 also has a telescoping steering wheel, which means if you're a little bit taller, I recommend the ND2 over the ND1. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what I love about driving it, why I feel that this is the best driver's car for less than $50,000 today, and I'll walk you through a couple of things that I think could be improved if Mazda ever made an ND3, which, spoiler, I don't think they will. I think it will be the that's right, A, B, C, D, E, NE Miata. And it might be electric, but let's talk about this one, and I love this one. So, the Miata ND really has two modes to it. It is two different cars in one, which is great. Firstly, you've got cruising mode. You can hop into fifth or sixth gear, you can cruise under 3,000 RPM, get 32 miles to the gallon, and it is just a nice little cruiser car. You can take it down the Pacific Coast Highway, go to a friend's house, go to the grocery store, and it is a quiet car that just looks sleek and beautiful. And then the other mode is the sporty, fun, mega track car mode, and my favorite part about that is there's no sport mode button, there's no eco mode button, there's no mid mode, there's nothing. It's you. You have the ability to change how the car responds, which is how all cars should be. Downshift into second gear, rev it out to 7,500 RPM, and depending on your inputs is how the car is going to respond. And this car responds perfectly. I have not had more fun in a car lately, and I've driven quite a few cars this year. Now let's talk about that responsiveness, because that's what makes the Miata so special, and the Miatas have been very responsive and great cars for almost 3.5 decades now. And as you can see, the car is just so linear, and you can really expect exactly what it's going to do, because it's not what the car's going to do, it's what you're going to do with the car, which I know just sounds obvious, right? That's how cars should be. Let's talk about the steering. The steering has a perfect weight to it, and I mean perfect. It is just enough where you get a lot of feedback from the road, and you don't have to turn in too hard. You can still daily drive it with one hand and you can cruise, but it's never going to feel loose and like you don't have control of the car, and it's also not going to feel as if you don't have any power steering and you're going through a bicep workout. As you can see, the transmission is fantastic. You get really short throws. It's a 6-speed, which makes it pretty fuel efficient, and the downshifts are really easy to do, so you can just blip the throttle when you heel toe, and the car will respond perfectly as if the transmission and engine were made in heaven together. Hi, Porsches. Look at that downshift, just so perfect each time. The next piece is the brake feel. Some cars, I say the brakes are too mushy, or the brakes grab too hard, or the brakes this, or the brakes that. And this car, guess what? It's perfect. I mean, it's as if Mazda has just made a car that transforms you, the driver, into the car. I would say that that's exactly what this feels like. It's like a cocoon. It's as if you're a transformer. Yes, it's a little small in here, but it's so driver focused and so simple that the car just does what you want, and it gives such an analog experience in such a new age car, which is what I love. I personally didn't understand air-cooled Porsches and all the rage until I rode in one, and you guys can check out that video here of Tommy's 72 911. And then I understood that the sensation from air-cooled Porsches is unlike anything else you can get now. But the Miata is the closest thing that you can get to a vintage Porsche, I dare say. And let me know if you think differently. A Miata is just so fantastic as a driver's car, and you probably know that already. You've watched videos of it on the track, you watched Motor Trend slide it around, and now you think, oh, this guy stuck behind a Jetta in the hills is no fun at all. So I'll tell you what it's like to live with. In terms of practicality, it's actually not bad. If it's a very sunny day and you want to pop the top, you can literally do so while driving. You grab it, it's like a perfect alley-oop, and look at that, we put the top on. Easy peasy, right? If you want to drop the top, you simply go like this, click it down, and the top is down. It is the fastest top mechanism I have ever used. It's fantastic, and it just feels like being Barry Bonds in the home run derby with a perfect pitch. When you pull that little lever, it pops the roof up for you and you can put it on. The air conditioning, because the car is so small, reaches you even in the heat. So right now it is 91 degrees here in Southern California in the mountains. I can turn on the AC, and in some larger convertibles, the air just kind of dissipates before it even hits you, right? Because it has to push the air so far in order to get to you. But here, since it's only maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet between this air vent and my shoulder, I can actually feel the cold air with the air conditioning on and the top down, which means you can go topless on a hot day, just don't forget your sunscreen. And the trunk space is actually decent. As you guys saw at the beginning of the video, I have 2 camping chairs in there at all times, and it's no issue to fit them, along with my camera bag, which is a full carry-on size bag, a backpack, and an extra blanket, and picnic equipment. So if you're gonna be daily driving this car and you only need to do Costco runs for 1 or 2 people, not an entire family, you can definitely use the Miata as your daily car. I hope this video has helped you on your decision of whether or not you should get a Miata ND. I have 2 other videos on this generation of Miata, of course with the older engine, but honestly, the difference in engine is not what makes the ND the one to get, or rather the ND2. Just, if you can get an ND2, get it. If you can only get an ND1, get that. These cars are so phenomenal, and I think they will be the most fun and the best bang for your buck in terms of enjoyable sports cars for years to come. And this car has actually gotten me to add another car to my collection, which is only at the Fiat 500 Abarth right now, but I will be buying another Miata within the next few weeks. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see what I buy and what I do to it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace. Putting up the roof is really easy, but it is easier to get out of the car with the top down. If you're in a narrow space, it's nice to be able to get up vertically like this, then get out of the car and close it. I would love to be able to put the top up from here, which I can do. So as you can see, it's very easy with one hand. You can go like this, latch it on, and that's great. But now I need to get back inside the car to roll up the windows. There are a lot of other cars where you can just hold down on the key and the windows will roll up automatically. This car does not seem to have that option. You can see if I double tap and hold, it'll beep, it locks, but I can't put up the windows from the key. My Volkswagen GTI did that. I think it'd be awesome if the ND did so as well. But when those are the only complaints with the car, that means there's every other reason to get it.